Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the first Bracketology of the new year. This one is for the first one of 2020, as you can see up there, January 3rd. And man, number 4, Oregon lost to Colorado last night. Another top 5 team going down. Gonzaga was even down 7 to Portland at the half. I know they ended up coming back and winning by like 20, but that was just crazy how they were down by 7 to just a team that nobody had even expected them to be down at any point to. But I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go over all the different teams and their movements in the bracket since the last Bracketology we did. Moving forward, Joe Lenardi said he's going to be posting the updated Bracketologies every Tuesday and Friday. So you guys can expect to see videos from me every Tuesday and Friday moving forward. I know in my last video I was talking about how I don't know how it's going to look with my job. I'm starting it up. I'm going to be working about 70 hours a week moving forward. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. But the plan is to get it out every Tuesday and Friday. But it may be late at night. It may be early in the morning. We'll just kind of see what happens with that. But without any further ado, a minute into the video, let's go ahead and get into the looks over it. First, we got Gonzaga up there as the number 1 seed, as you can see. Then Xavier's down to an 8. Houston's new to the field as a 9. Florida State is now down to a 5. Georgia State up to a 13. Kentucky remains a 6 after beating Louisville. I was kind of surprised by that. I was expecting them to move up to a 5, but I mean, I'll take a 6 seed. BYU is down to an 11. Rider up to a 14. Texas Tech up to a 7. And San Diego State, one of the surprise teams this season, is now up to a 2 seed. Then we'll move over here to the top 8 regional. We got Duke remaining the 1. Marquette down to an 8. Indiana down to a 9. Playing game right there, as you can see, is Oklahoma and DePaul. Michigan State is now down to a 4 seed. Wichita State up there as a 6. Washington and Wisconsin being the play-in game. West Virginia up to a 3. Colgate up to a 14. St. Mary's a 7. Georgetown a 10. And then North Dakota State is new to the field as a 15. Then down here in the Indianapolis Regional, which I think I will end up going to the Indianapolis Regional at Lucas Oil Stadium. We just got to see what happens with that. But Ohio State remains the 1. Creighton is now up to an 8 after destroying Marquette by like 20 last night. Oklahoma State is now up to a 9. Akron's new to the field as a 13. Iowa is up to a 6. Louisville's down to a 13 after losing on the road to Kentucky. Loyola Chicago is new to the field. Stanford's down to a 10, and Sam Houston State is new to the field as a 15. And as you can see right there, Baylor is the 2. Then over here in the Houston Regional, we have Kansas as the 1 seed. Arkansas is now up to an 8. Penn State up to a 5. Louisiana Tech is now a 12. Villanova a 4. Wright State a 13. Colorado, after their big home win against Oregon last night where the fans stormed the court, is now up to a 6. Liberty is down to an 11. Northeastern a 14 new to the field. Virginia is down to a 7 after winning the championship last year. They've just kind of been falling with every single bracketology that's been coming out. Utah State is now down to a 10. Auburn is the 2 seed right there. They and San Diego State are the only 2 teams that haven't lost this season. And then Murray State is the 15 right there. Now go and kind of show you guys the bubble right here. Utah State, Florida, Stanford, and NC State. Last 4 byes, last 4 in are Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Washington, DePaul. First 4 out are Minnesota, Northern Iowa, Tennessee, and VCU. And then the next 4 out are Temple, St. John's, LSU, and Rutgers. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but North Carolina is nowhere to be found. I know on the last bracketology I think they were the 2nd team out, but now they're not even one of the first 8 teams out after only beating, I think it was Wofford or Yale by 3 at home. I think they ended up losing to Wofford. Don't quote me on that. I know they played. I can't remember who ended up winning that game. But man, they just look awful, and ESPN's bracket predictor only gives them a 12% chance to make the tournament as of right now, which is just crazy after starting the season as a number 2 seed, potentially even number 1, I don't remember. But without any further ado, I'll go ahead and make the brackets on this Excel document right here. I'm looking to see if there's any more new websites kind of like Brackify where I can make the logos and have you guys interact with it, but I just haven't been able to find anything so far, so for the time being, I'll just kind of keep going with this bracketology thing. First, we have Gonzaga and Prairie View A&M versus Utah Valley. Obviously, Gonzaga is going to end up winning that game. Then we got Xavier and Houston. I actually think Houston's going to win that game as the 9 seed. Florida State, I think, will be East Tennessee State. Then we got, for some reason, there we go. Then we got Michigan beating Georgia State. Oh my gosh, it's not working for some. There we go. Then Kentucky, I think, will beat BYU. Then we have Oregon beating Rider. I know Oregon ended up losing to Colorado last night, but I still think they'll be able to get the victory there. Then we got Texas Tech and Florida. I'm actually going to go with Florida. I know in the past couple bracketologies I've been hating on them. But with Kerry Blackshear, I think they can get the victory over Texas Tech there. I know Texas Tech did end up beating Louisville at one point in Madison Square Garden, so I can easily see them getting the victory there. But I'll go with an upset just to make things interesting. Then down here we have Ohio State versus the winner of Bethune-Cookman and Winthrop. Obviously, that's going to be Ohio State. Then we got Creighton and Oklahoma State. I was kind of surprised Oklahoma State's a 9 seed. I haven't really been paying too much attention to them. I'll kind of have to look into them a bit more. But I got Creighton winning that one. They impressed me last night against Marquette. The Memphis, I think, will beat Yale. Dayton with Obi Toppin, who is one of the National Player of the Year contenders, which is crazy to think about. I think they'll end up beating Akron there. Then I'm going to go with an upset pick here. I'm going to go with NC State over Iowa. The 11 over the 6. Oh, I clicked the blank thing there. And we got Louisville. They're going to beat Loyola Chicago. I would not be too concerned about that. I just don't see Loyola Chicago pulling off the upset there. Then I'm going to go with Miles Powell and Seton Hall. Miles Powell leading Seton Hall past Stanford, and then Baylor beating Sam Houston State. Then up here in the top right regional, we will have Duke as the 1 seed. They'll end up beating Bryan. I don't think that one's even going to be too close. Then we got Marquette and Marcus Howard. I think they'll end up beating Indiana. Indiana had a chance for a good win last night. I don't remember what happened to them. I think they end up losing, something like that. Then we got Arizona. I think they'll be able to beat the winner of Oklahoma and DePaul, which I think will be DePaul. Then I'm going to go with Cassius Winston and Michigan State moving forward past Vermont. Wichita State has only lost once this season. I think they'll be able to beat the winner of Washington and Wisconsin. Washington lost on a buzzer beater to UCLA last night, and then Wisconsin destroyed Tennessee on the road by like 20 or something like that over this weekend. West Virginia, I think, will beat Colgate. They're going to go with Georgetown with Mac McClung, though they did end up getting destroyed a couple of days ago. I don't remember by who. I think they'll be able to get the victory over St. Mary's there. Then we got Butler beating North Dakota State. Kansas, I think, will be able to beat Montana. I don't think that one will even be close. Arkansas, they've been a surprise team this season, but I got Purdue winning that matchup there. Penn State, another really surprise team this season. I really like them. They had that loss to Ole Miss to where they were up by like 20 and let them come back, and I think they lost one more. I just don't remember who it was to. They've been really impressed with me this season. Then I think Villanova is going to beat Wright State. Then as much as I want to go with Colorado right here, they did get the big win over Oregon last night, and I talked them up a little bit earlier in the video. I think Liberty's going to get the job done there. Liberty's only loss is on the road at LSU, and you guys know how much I've been talking up Liberty these past couple of bracketologies. And last year they did pull off, I think it was the 4 versus 13 upset as the 13 seed over Mississippi State. I think they get the victory there as the 11. And then Maryland's going to beat Northeastern. Virginia, I think Tony Bennett's going to be able to help them get past Utah State into the second round. Then we got Auburn beating Murray State. Then up here for a spot in the Sweet 16, we have Gonzaga versus Houston. I think these two teams may have played a tournament a little bit ago. No, it was Michigan and Houston, the one I was thinking about. Gonzaga's going to end up winning that game. Florida State and Michigan, I think. No, I think it was Texas Tech and Michigan that played last year, and then Florida State and Gonzaga. I don't know what I'm thinking about. But I think Michigan with Juwan Howard is going to lead them past Florida State and into the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga. Kentucky and Oregon, I'm actually going to go with Kentucky here. I know I love Oregon this season. If they had been like a 2 seed or whatever, I would have been moving them forward. But with them losing on the road at Colorado and then Kentucky finally getting they have 2 primetime wins this season over Michigan State and Louisville, though they did lose to Ohio State, Utah, and Evansville. I think this one would be a really interesting game to watch, but I think Kentucky's going to end up getting the victory there. San Diego State's going to move past Florida. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Ohio State, I think, will beat Creighton. Then we have Memphis losing to Dayton. I like Dayton with Obi Toppin right there. Then we got NC State and Louisville. Louisville's going to win that one with the 3 seed moving forward there past the 11. Then Baylor will beat Seton Hall. If you had told me these two teams would be facing off in the preseason, I definitely would have picked Seton Hall there. But Baylor's been really impressive this season. Then up here we have Duke versus Marquette. Really like Marcus Howard here. I think they could get the job done against Duke, but I don't think it will happen. I said I think they might be able to get the job done, but I do not think it will happen. Then I think Michigan State with Cassius Winston is going to move forward past Arizona. I like Wichita State pulling off the 6 over 3 here. West Virginia's been really impressive. They just beat Ohio State this season. I think they're like 11-1 too, but so is Wichita State. I think Wichita State moves on there to the Sweet 16. Then Butler will end up beating Georgetown. Battle of the Big East teams right there. I think Butler gets the job done. I think they only have like 1 loss this entire season. It was either to like Baylor or Washington. I can't remember which one. Kansas and Purdue, I think Kansas gets the victory there. Penn State and Villanova, I'm actually going to go with the 5 over 4 here with Penn State, the lesser-known team. They've been really impressive this season, and until I get proven wrong, I'll just keep going with them. Then we got Liberty versus Maryland. I think Maryland's going to get the job done there. I'd really like to see Liberty move on to the Sweet 16, but I got Maryland winning that matchup there. They're just a more talented team. Auburn, I think I'm going to finally give them the respect they deserve. Rematch of the Final Four last year where Auburn, I think, kind of got screwed, but I think they'll be able to beat Virginia right there in that rematch and get the revenge. And up here for a spot in the Elite 8, we got Gonzaga beating Michigan, and then as much as I want to pick Kentucky moving on past San Diego State right there, I just can't pick them at this point. They're just too inconsistent. I mean, San Diego State hasn't even lost this season, so I'm going to go with San Diego State. Sorry about my computer being a little bit laggy. Then we got Ohio State and Dayton, battle of the two Ohio teams here. We got Ohio State being from Columbus and Dayton being from Dayton. They're like half an hour apart or something. I'm actually going to go with the upset here and pick Dayton moving forward as the 4 seed over the 1, Ohio State being the first number 1 seed to lose. I really like Obi Toppin. I think he'll be able to take over the game, and Dayton's proven they can hang with the top guns. They took Kansas to overtime in the Maui Invitational. I think they can beat Ohio State there. Then I got Louisville with Jordan Nwora, who, if he can show up in a big game, Louisville could be unstoppable, but so far this season, he just hasn't been showing up against like Michigan. He had 22 points, but on 23 shots, and then just completely disappeared against Kentucky. Then over here in the top right regional, we have Duke versus Michigan State. I'm going to go with another 1 seed upset. I'm going to go with Michigan State as the 4 seed moving on there. I think Cassius Winston should be able to get them past Duke. And then Butler and Wichita State, I'm going to go with Butler. I think they're a more proven team, and as the 2 seed, they'll be able to move on there. Then Kansas, I think, will beat Penn State, though I'd love to see Penn State win that matchup. And then Maryland, I think, will beat Auburn. I know all these Auburn fans saying I'm disrespecting them. I mean, hey, they're undefeated, but they haven't really beaten anybody truly good this season. And Maryland, I think, will be able to get the job done right there as the 3 seed. So for a spot in the Final Four, moving it up to the top right regional, we got Gonzaga over San Diego State. As much as I'd love to pick San Diego State moving on there, I just don't think that'll happen. They had that scare against San Jose State. Dayton and Louisville, as much as I'd love to see Obi Toppin and Dayton move forward, I think Louisville's going to get the job done there as the 3 seed. Then over here we got Michigan State and Butler. I'm going to go with Cassius Winston, preseason player of the year, and Michigan State moving forward as the 4 seed. And then down here in the bottom right regional, Kansas and Maryland. As much as I'd love to pick Anthony Cohen and Bruno Fernando and all those good guys, I'll pick Kansas. They're a more experienced team. They're coached by a better coach in Bill Self. Then first spot in the national championship game, Gonzaga versus Louisville. I'm actually going to go with Chris Mack and Louisville. You guys kind of saw me scroll up to Gonzaga there, but I think Louisville is a more battle-tested team. I think they're going to be playing a lot tougher opponents, and if Nora can show up, I think they can make it to the national championship game as a 3 seed. Then we got Kansas beating Michigan State. I think if they're a really talented team too. I don't know what's going to happen with all the NCAA like investigations and stuff, but I think they can beat Michigan State right there, which sets up Louisville versus Kansas for the national championship. And sadly, I'm going to have to go with Kansas right there. I think Kansas is the most talented team at this point. I think their only loss this whole season was to Duke at the beginning of the season. I may be wrong on that, and I know they were taken to overtime by Dayton. But I can't remember if they lost another one. Don't quote me on that. They might have. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your reactions to my bracketology predictions in the comments below. Leave your own as well, and I will be doing a NCAA tournament ticket giveaway. If we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'll be making a video on that when the time comes. I think it'll probably be in a couple weeks or something like that. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did. And I will see you all later.